Hello there. This video deals with Solstice as the main holiday of Asatru. There are 4 main holidays in Asatru. Some celebrate 8, similar to the Celtic religions, but the main holidays are the solstices, summer and winter, and of course equinox as the point in between. The sun cycle marks in the solstices. At summertime, sun is at the height of its warmth and its strength, and it's the longest day of the year, shortest night, so we celebrate summer solstice. In winter we have the point where it is the longest night of the year, point of greatest darkness, and of course the shortest day of the year. In between, the equinox are the points where day and night are about same length. You can find these points on the internet. Mainly they're same day every year, but sometimes there are differences. If you look it up astronomically, they can be calculated to minutes. The solstice is not only celebrated in Asatru, it's celebrated in all pagan religions all over the globe. Asatru celebrated as a celebration of the god Balder. Balder is the sun god. It's not the sun as such. The difference can be pointed out best if you take the Latin sol for sun and sol invictus for sun god. It's a difference that's made in almost all pagan religions. The sun god is for vegetation, it's for life, it's for warmth, whereas the sun is the sun as such. The Germanic mythology says that the god Balder had bad dreams about being in great danger, and he asked for help and talked to the other gods, and his mother Frigga went on to take care that no harm was to be to her son. She went into the world and took oaths from all living creatures and all non-living creatures such as rocks, plants, living creatures as humans, gods, dwarves, elves, that they would not harm her son. She forgot one single living being, the mistletoe, because she thought it was too small to harm anybody. She was very proud that she was able to protect her son, or seemingly to be protecting her son. So one day an old woman, which was Loki in disguise, knocked at her door and they talked about different things, and she told him that she took oaths, but she didn't take an oath from the mistletoe. Later, the gods were standing in a field and making fun of shooting at Balder, and they shot everything and he couldn't be harmed. His blind brother stood aside because he couldn't participate. So Loki went up to him and said, "Come on, participate, I'll give you something to throw." Some say that he helped shoot an arrow at him. In any way, it was a mistletoe, which was formed as a dart or an arrow, and Hodor threw it at his brother and he died instantly. After his death, he was cremated on his ship, and his wife died of broken heart due to his dying at the height of his beauty and his innocence, so her body was cremated as well. It is told that when the world ends, he will return from the underworld and start a new world, a new cycle with Fjord's brothers and the sons of Thor. He cannot return earlier because the trial to get him out of hell at an earlier time failed. The goddess Hel said that he may return if every creature on earth grieves about him. One creature didn't grieve, and it was Loki, of course. He initiated the killing, and so he denied grieving. He did it in disguise again, just as he disguised when he took the information from Frigga. This time he masked himself as a giantess and took the name Darkness and said that he would not grieve because he was darkness, or she was darkness, and so she didn't like the sun, the brightness and the joy that came from him. The summer solstice marks the point of absolute beauty, purity and warmth, and everybody is celebrating. Mainly solstice celebrations are that different religions make their bloats or their sacrifices earlier and later gather around a bonfire and celebrate together, and it's wild, it's loud, it's happy, it's joy, it's celebrating life at its most beautiful point and most pure point. In some regions in continental Europe and some regions of Ireland, there are burning wheels. They are rolled down a hill. These wheels symbolize the burning at the burial ceremony. Some other regions, for example the region I live in, burn these wheels at the winter solstice. Winter solstice is a very quiet and familiar holiday. Some Yule celebrations or Christmas celebrations derive from it. Solstice is only a part of Yule. Yule is a greater complex where many gods are worshipped. I'll do a own video on that one. The winter celebrations have a gathering of family being together and gathering in darkness, waiting for the sun to be reborn again and to rise again, and it's very, very festive, so it's celebrated very quietly. The cycle of life and death is very typical for pagan religions, especially Asatru, as it marks a cycle of life, not linear life. Something is born, lives, dies, and out of the ashes something new is reborn, and it's an eternal cycle of life and death, which is symbolized by the cycle of the sun, by the life and dying of Balder. Many features of Balder were integrated into the Christian view of Jesus of Nazareth. These aspects were featured about 4th or 5th century. You can see that quite clear in old European documents and church documents, where attributes of sun gods were put into later, such as brightness, purity, and so on, features that were originally not integrated. Later perceptions of Balder are also very influenced by Christianity in reverse, whereas, for example, after his rebirth, when Earth is renewed, it is said that there is no evil to be in the world. This is clearly a Christian perspective, as it would mark a linear time and not a cycle. So the mythology clearly says beauty is reborn, innocence is reborn, but also evil is reborn. It is always in movement because life can only exist if death also exists.